guys. So today I have an exercise that I've given to a few patients in the past couple of weeks. So I figured I would share for anyone and everyone to check out. And it's an exercise that I often give to shoulder patients or patients who are looking to improve their posture as a progression to strengthening their lower trap. And more specifically, I say progression because often physios, including myself, will start patients off with a wall slide where we are looking to start strengthening or using our lower trap muscles here to help lift our arms up overhead, and they'll do that facing a wall. And then when that exercise gets too easy, but maybe they're not quite at the point where we want to start loading up that movement with either a TheraBand or a weight, or if there are other reasons that they can't do that, then this progression is one that I will often give because it's actually surprisingly difficult. And the reason for that is we are going from the vertical plane of lifting our arm against a wall to putting it on the floor. And the exercise itself is called the child's pose liftoff. To do this exercise, you're going to find yourself a comfortable patch of floor. I would recommend getting maybe like a towel for your forehead or maybe doing it on a mat if you want. And you're going to pick a position for your knees that is comfortable for your back when you are lying in child's pose on the floor. So by that, I mean that I'm going to hang out on the floor like so, and I'm going to initiate the movement by pulling my shoulder blades down towards my bum, and then thumbs up, I'm going to lift my arm as high as I can off the floor and come back down. And then I can either do a set of 10 on one arm, or I can alternate back and forth with the other arm if I want to work on improving both shoulders. It's up to you, but ultimately the goal would be to do 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 10 per arm, or 2 to 3 sets of 16 to 20 in total per day, or as often as you would like. The more you do it, the faster you're going to see results. And the goal would be to do each of those reps without feeling much of the upper trap working. We want to feel the lower trap, or at least at the very beginning, if we're not really sure, we want to make sure which muscle we are using. We want to make sure that at the very least we're not using these guys. So as long as you're not using these guys and your arm is lifting, you're probably closer to being on the right track than the wrong track. And the other thing that you may want to keep in mind is that as you're doing this exercise, if it feels like the ability to lift your arm is being impeded by tension or restriction or some kind of pulling through the front of the arm or something like that, it may be one of those cases where you would want to either take a little cross ball and roll out your pec, or do some kind of pec stretch, or you may want to try and open up your upper back by lying on a foam roller or some other upper back stretch, and then go back to doing this exercise. The other thing to keep in mind is that if, as you start this exercise, your arm is only lifting like at maybe half a centimeter off the floor, good. That's kind of the idea. That's why we're doing this exercise. If it is really easy for you to lift your arm off the floor, then chances are you probably don't need to, unless of course you're doing it and all you feel is a bunch of tension through the upper trap, which means that we're just feeding the compensation that may already be there. So to recap, child's pose, pull the shoulder blade down towards your bum, lift as high as you can, making sure we feel a muscle in our back working as opposed to the upper trap working. And we want to do that for 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 10 per arm, or 16 to 20 if we are alternating arms in a given set. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Thanks.